More news coming in. This is the inside scoop on the 2026 budget. The government, at least through our sources, have said this year's budget presentation will be a unique one among all the budgets which have come in the last 75 years. Earlier budget speeches typically had a lot of detail in Part A, while Part B only consisted of a few announcements. This time, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is expected to speak in great detail in Part B. Part B of the budget speech will place strong emphasis on both short-term and long-term goals is what we are learning. I'm going to go straight across to Business Today Television's Siddharth Zarabi for the very latest on that. Siddharth, what are you picking up? Tell us more.
Well, very clearly, this is going to be yet another change, a major one and a significant one, in the manner in which the government under Prime Minister Narendra Modi has changed how the Union government statement of accounts and policy priorities every year is outlined. You would recall that not only has the timing but also the date of the presentation of the budget been brought forward some years ago, and today's what we are picking up from Government of India sources is very clearly an acknowledgement that the budget making process, specifically with regard to taxation proposals, for the benefit of our viewers, the Part A was the grand vision, the macroeconomic policy issues being highlighted. Part B was the action. Part B was where the Aam Aadmi used to get impacted through income tax changes, through customs, excise and other changes. That has changed. All of the indirect tax work is now with the GST Council, which is a central and state government federal body which functions separately, and we know that big announcements that happened prior to Diwali on indirect tax changes where GST rates were cut across the board. Prior to that, we know income tax changes that have already been brought in, including up to the slab of 12 lakh rupees that happened in the earlier budget. Therefore, the expectation this time around was that the only thing that can come up in Part B is import duty reductions, or what we would like to call as customs duty rationalization. Therefore, we are picking up from sources is that Part B, which is the annual financial statement and the tax proposals, is therefore going to become the main part where the government will not just use it for tax changes, but to explain what India seeks to achieve on a broader and holistic basis. Will it outline a broad-term tax rate structure which will prevail 5 years later? Will it give us hints of what India's imports duty will be in the post-EU and possibly post-US FTA era? All of these things make it significant in the sense that the content of the budget, which has changed over the years due to various tax-related changes, the statement of accounts not remaining just a statement of accounts, but a medium to long-term statement of intent. And before I hand it back to you, it's clear that this ties in with what Prime Minister Modi's government and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, who will be presenting a record 9th budget tomorrow, have been doing. They have been talking about long-term goals, including the Vixit Bharat goal, and how India hopes to aspire to be the third largest economy by size. And therefore, I would say that this pivot that will be made primarily in technical parliamentary terms for the finance bill, which is essentially Part B, it will be a very interesting presentation that we are now counting down on the clock to.
Well, absolutely. Obviously, this clearly is a deliberate choice in that sense to emphasize the country's strategic vision over just traditional numerical presentations, isn't it, Siddharth? I'm going to leave it there for the moment. Thanking you for joining in with your perspective on that story.